Hi everybody, this is Pat Hogarty and I'd like to welcome you to my introduction to utilizing Adobe Photoshop Elements 10. We're going to start this video tutorial series out by first providing for you an overview of what the software interface looks like. In other words, we're going to be going through and just giving you a quick overview of where the menus are located, where the toolbox is, where there's different kinds of palettes that you can do, such as very quick edits, guided edits, and actually being able to completely fully edit a photograph. And in addition to that, we're going to be talking about how do you share, where would you be able to share your photographs? In other words, how do you get them from your computer out to different photo sharing websites such as SmugMug or Flickr, or how do you just email it? So how do you get that out of there? And then we're also going to be talking about another thing, which is just to show you where you can make certain things like calendars, photo books, just different things along that line. And then finally, I'm going to end up in this overview with just showing you that when you open up Photoshop Elements, you're going to have a series of tabs for every photograph that you have open, and it allows you to navigate back and forth very simply. So we're going to move on to how to do that now. What I'd like to do now is just provide a brief overview of what the Photoshop Elements 10 interface looks like. And if you go up here on the top, you see that there's a few, if you will, buttons. And basically we can do something called reset panels, which are, all of these things are called panels here. We can undo an action that we just did. We can redo something that we just did. We can actually go to something called the organizer here and go to home. And then of course we have minimize, maximize, and close buttons. Down below you'll see that we have a normal menu system. And that contains all of the commands that you normally would be utilizing within Adobe Photoshop Elements, and we'll be going over these in the tutorials that we're going to be doing. Over on the left-hand side, you're going to see a tool panel, or sometimes referred to as a tool palette, and these are tools that we're utilizing in the program in order to edit various kinds of photos. For example, I have things such as a magic wand to select certain items in a photo. This is to put text on a photograph. And of course, other things such as being able to do things like crop the photo. And we'll be talking more about that into detail. Now up here I want to point something out. Whenever you select one of these buttons right here, you're going to notice that this up here changes. So for example, if I click on this, you'll notice that this has changed. If I go to text, you will notice here fairly quickly, if you will, that all of a sudden now this is all the text items that you would see up here. So keep in mind that whenever you select something here, what's going to happen is this bar will change and provide additional functions that you can utilize. Now what I have in front of me here is a car, one of my favorite cars. It's a Chrysler 300H. And what I've done is I just wanted to show you this is what it would look like if I opened it normally. And then I have some other photographs here that I've taken of the same car. The only thing that I want to point out is that these are tabs. And so the tabs allow you, every time you open a photograph, you can switch back and forth between the photographs. On the left-hand side, and I'll click the Edit button here, this is where we're going to be doing things such as editing. And we have where we can do full editing of a photograph. We can also do what we call a quick edit, which is, you'll notice things sort of change, and these are things that we can do fairly quickly. We also have a menu that goes up and down here, or a bar that slides up and down. And then we have something in here called a guided editing. And what this is sort of step by step, where you select something and then it'll walk you through the steps that you can use in order to edit the photograph. Over here to the next tab is something called Create, and this is used if you want to do things like create prints, photo book, greeting cards, photo calendar, photo collage, slideshows, things like that. Then finally over here is something called Share. And Share is where you have a photograph that you want to share with somebody else outside your normal computer, such as being able to share it on Facebook, on Flickr, which is a photo sharing website, sending it to SmugMug, which is another photo sharing website. So the idea is getting the photo out of your computer and to somebody else. And finally, down the bottom here, you'll see that we have a project bin. This is what is opened right now as far as the photographs that I have open. So anytime I have a photograph open, it will show up here. I can change which one I'm looking at by going here. You'll also notice that this turned gray down here. I could also go over here and just double click on this, and this allows me to switch the photographs that way. And again, this is just a basic overview of the user interface, if you will. And we'll be going into more detail as we move on through these video tutorials.